All right, Jim, we got a very special episode coming up here with Vanessa Richardson, obviously. But before we get into it, man, we had to get fed one time.
Yeah,
we had to get fed by one of our favorite places in the city.
Absolutely. Shout out again to my boy Ali for having the absolute best sandwich shop. Halal sandwich shop, might add. Q's Deli over in Sugarland. Everyone, make sure to go by, check it out. 13134 Derry Ashford Road, Suite 100. It's a beautiful shop. They got the best food. If you ask for my suggestion, my personal favorite sandwich at the shop, Q's Best, the namesake of the shop. Like, let me tell you, man, like everything that you see, I got the merch on right here. Everyone just go make sure to support Q's.
I'm shocked at the fact that you remembered the address like off the top of your head. I have to I don't have this address of our studio in my head. It's on Google Maps.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, I'm just very committed, shout out again to Ali. Like,
yes.
The sandwiches are amazing. I just think that you guys need to check it out. Thank you to him. Thank you to Q's Deli for sponsoring this episode with Vanessa Richardson.
Yeah, shout outs and support local.
Absolutely.
Especially, I mean, while you were doing it, it's finger licking good. So good.
Yeah.
Easily one of the best sandwiches in the entire city of Houston. Get yourself fed one time by checking out Q's Deli. Once again, sponsoring this episode, keeping food in our tummies, keeping us fed, giving us the energy we need to power through a fantastic episode we have in store with a very, very, very special guest, one Vanessa Richardson. All right, intro Kenny, take us away. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Summit State of Mind. And I don't even want to mess around. I want to get right into it right now. We have a very special guest joining us at the Summit today. The Sideline Reporter for the Houston Rockets. Personally, for me, one of my favorite people in the media world. You know this. Not like you don't know this. Not like you don't know this. We got the beautiful, the badass, Vanessa Richardson here at the Summit in studio.
You guys are
How you doing? Come on. We got to do it.
Ooh.
One time.
Yeah,
I
you
clap
know.
for myself.
Have
You
to.
guys,
Clap track.
Yeah, give yourself a pound on the back.
I've been promising y'all to come in for a good year now, so I owe it to you.
Fair.
But no, I mean, you guys are a lot of fun, and you add a fun fan element to the podcast, so I'm happy to be here.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Yeah, it's been a year. Has it been a year? It's been about a year.
That I've been leading you guys on and telling you all about it.
Yeah, we were in an old studio at that point in
I
time.
think
We were at our
so.
old
Oh
location.
my goodness!
Yeah.
But I know I'm glad. If there's any year we can get into it, it's got to be this year.
Yeah.
yes.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness! It is
Absolutely.
So ready.
so on. But before we dive into the season, obviously this upcoming season, let's talk about your off season. What did you do this past summer? You did every time I saw on your Instagram or on your Twitter account, you were, or X, whatever you want to call it now, you've been somewhere doing something.
Yeah.
Tell the people, what have you been doing?
It's funny because I don't even post probably like 80% of what I do, but
Anything fun?
I did go to Europe with some girls. We had a really good time. We did a girls trip. We did Italy, France, Monaco. I went to LA. I went home to Indiana. I did, I did fill in for Astros, so I did work a little bit and did some radio. Of course, I hit Summer League and got some really fun Rockets content there. Went to the beach. So, my life from October to April and hopefully a little bit later this year is nothing but Rockets. So this is like my time to zen and travel and see
Get
everybody.
centered and
Yeah,
enjoy yourself
all
a
the
little
good
bit.
things.
Locking in.
Yeah,
I love
it's
it.
fun.
We're locking in for it right here. So, okay. So you're talking about, on your off season and obviously moving on to this season. I know you got some questions.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I mean, come on. With Rocket season coming up, we're all very excited to see what's happening. We've seen a lot of the clips from training camp.
Mm-hmm.
What are the expectations, hopes for what we see with young players moving forward for this year?
Yeah. I mean, when you have young players, every guy that I asked, and it's funny, like even when I asked Ime and Rafael, like the theme is growth. Because you have 7 really young players. You have this young core. And so, look, the growth might look different for everybody. For Jabari, he wanted to bulk up. For, it might be shot selection is what Ime said for some of them. Like, the growth might look different specifically for every guy. But when you have such a young, athletic, dynamic team, that general theme is there. And so how each guy grows, I think, is going to be really interesting to see. But the huge leap last season, and all of the effort that you've seen, even in these preseason games so far, I think it's going to lead to a lot of progress.
I mean, they were plus 19 in win totals from the year before.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I'm expecting like a leap of. I was talking about it earlier too off the air, and I was like, if there's going to be one team that can surprise in the NBA, I think the Rockets might just be. They might just fit that bill of the team.
Well, the
that
West
made,
is such a bloodbath, right?
Right.
So I think people look at Ime Udoka's Rockets are up and comers, but to your point, I think it could be more than that, and I'm really excited.
I'm excited too.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for the team to make its mark. I think they got the right coach at the helm with Ime Udoka. You see the way that he's been operating in practice and his staff. How has that been moving forward in training camp?
It's funny because you mentioned his staff, and Ime gets a lot of credit for being a good coach, as he should, but drawing up plays and all of that is only a portion of it. He probably deserves more credit for the staff that he brought in. And, you know, I did and I'm doing like a Meet the Coaches series, which has been really fun to get to sit down with Ben Sullivan and get to talk to Royale Ivy, who's basically the defensive coordinator. But there are a lot of names that people never hear, you know, guys that are video room and guys that are player development, and they're, you know, they have not as much recognition given to them, but they're crucial to the operation, right? And the funny thing is they're all the guys Ime brought in, top to bottom, they're all young, and they all have significant playing experience. Josh Bostic, Walker Miller, Matt McQuaid, like these are names people probably aren't hearing, but they're crucial. And they have this like stay ready crew, which every NBA team does, right? The player development guys, some of the coaches that scrimmage, the Jeff Greens and the Jock Landales, and you heard in some of my post-game interviews last year, the Stay Ready crew. And Jeff Green, who has played for different franchises, is like, this Stay Ready crew is different because the staff members are young and they all played at a very high level. So I think when you really take inventory of the staff that Ime Udoka brought in, again, top to bottom, these guys like Aaron Bright and Garrett Jackson, who was served as head coach at Summer League, young, experience at the high level, and that is so important.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that too, because the coach's mindset and the player's mindsets, like what is kind of their, you've got to kind of speak to, most of them, and what's kind of their mindset going into the season? Like
the players?
The player. Well, I guess a bit of both.
Yeah. I mean, the mindset is to win, and that is it, as simple as win and playoffs. Like I asked these guys their goals on media day, and they think that this is a playoff level team, and they believe it, and they believe in themselves. So I think it sounds like a cop-out answer, but like literally this simple goal is winning.
No, I don't think it's a cop-out answer at all, because it's true. It's literally in line with everything that they said during media day, during training camp.
Every player mentioned it.
They've said win.
I love it. I mean, when you hear that, how can fans not be excited for the team?
I know, well, because they're in phase 2 now, right? Like when Ime was hired, Tillman Fertitta, of course, owner of the Rockets, mentioned like this is phase 2. So they made a huge jump in wins last year, and like I've said, the West is tough. Like the West is not gonna make it easy on them. There are gonna be good nights, there are gonna be bad nights, but winning is 100% the goal.
So interesting that you say that. So basically, as we kind of continue to talk about the players and the staff as well as everything, I want to walk you through kind of what you do as well, because you are the sideline reporter for the Houston Rockets. Rockets players and players in general, they have like their stuff that they do on game day. I'm curious, what does Vanessa Richardson do on game day? Like, I remember it was 10 plus years ago, Jeremy Lin had like a thing where he was like, I have to take a 2-hour nap. Or shout outs to
I wish I got a 2-hour nap on game day. That's Craig Ackerman and Ryan Hollins that have time to nap. Yeah, I was gonna say like Lance McCullers has a thing before, like when he would be active, he would say, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna watch a movie like 24 hours before. Like I have to watch a movie 24 hours before. Okay. Kikuchi was like, I have to sleep for 10 hours the night before. He wasn't even there when they celebrated, I think during the division, when they won the division. So like, walk me through a Vanessa Richardson
game day, kind of prepping, getting ready for a Rockets game?
Love that. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get 10 hours the night before, but hopefully I get a good night's sleep. No, I mean, if you want to start the night before, if it's an away game, we all usually, the broadcasters go to dinner together. But game day, whether it's home or on the road, you go to shoot around. At least I go to shoot around. And that is where, of course, the guys are running through plays and, finalizing their plans for that night. That is where I get my kind of last batch of interviews. And, I use those for reports during the game. After shoot around, I usually go back to the hotel or back to my apartment and try to get a workout in on game day. And I have a call with our producer about the storylines that I'm looking for that night and that I think can add. And the graphics folks then start building some of those really cool graphics that you see.
Yes.
The stats that you get, that it's, Ime Thompson is the first Rockets player since this guy to do this. Like, those aren't random.
I love the fun facts.
Right.
Yeah.
So those all have to be built. So we discuss that. And then, from there, I get to the arena at 4 something ish, and we have Coach Udoka press conference. We have the opposing coach press conference, and then if I'm in the pregame show, I'll do a hit in the pregame show, which everybody should watch, with Kevin Eschenfelder, Calvin Murphy, and Gerald Green on
There you
Space
go.
City Home Network.
Yes.
Nice
plug.
Yeah, thank you. So after the pregame show, if I do a hit, obviously after the pregame show is the broadcast. So Craig and Ryan do their open. I have my hit and obviously do a halftime interview with one of our lovely assistant coaches. If we win, I get to do a post-game interview. Those are always
Love the post-game
super
interviews.
fun. We have
Oh,
a
yeah.
group of
And
young,
they always go
fun
viral.
guys.
Like,
Yeah.
your post-game
For a lot of different
reasons.
reasons.
Yes, but good.
Yes,
Good. They
yes,
were all great.
yes.
Like, every time, like, there's always something.
Yeah.
It's a quick water bath. or-
Yeah, the water bath.
The water
is
bath.
fun.
There's always
the
something.
the guys
Yeah.
supporting each other, like the last
Yes.
game of the year
Yes.
in LA. Ime Thompson, first triple double of his career, happens to be the last game, and you have Alper and Şengün in the background saying triple double twin, and then you have like Ben Sullivan walked by and said something to Ime. So
That's so awesome.
yeah, it always super fun. And so yeah, the game ends, and then we go to the locker room and get post-game sound, and then after that, and that can take a while, right, depending on how long the players take to shower and whatnot. But yeah, go home and reflect on the day. I usually try to post some stuff on social media for the fans. But yeah, that's game day, baby.
No,
and
I
then
love
here,
it.
if it's on the road,
Yeah.
we
yeah.
usually leave after the game
Okay.
for that next destination. So
Right,
if
right.
we're playing the Philadelphia 76ers, and our next game is in Chicago against the Bulls. A lot of people don't realize we leave after the game. So we might land in Chicago at 2 a.m. And so that is where, like, the guys and everybody, if you're traveling, your sleep schedule is kind of out of whack.
Well, I was going to say, too, because when you're traveling, like, that must be, especially when you do, like, 6-7 straight
Yeah.
road games.
Yeah.
And it must be like it must
The
be
back-to-backs
tough.
are look, I never complain. We travel
Right,
on an
no.
amazing private plane, and we stay at great hotels. But for the players, especially the older ones, those
Yeah.
back-to-backs are
Yeah.
killer.
Right.
So, yeah,
Shouts to Uncle Jeff Green. for
Uncle
that one.
Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
All
But-
the guys up there in age.
But still staying ready in the Stay Ready crew.
Stay ready.
There you
I
go.
know, 100%. You know what's so funny? You're talking about like in-game experience. You know what I've always thought would be cool, and you could possibly use this or not. A reaction cam on you when anything big happens, just like
Okay.
on you at that moment.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
This is great because
Yeah, I was gonna say
because the Rockets VP of Communications, Tracy Hughes, always laughs at my facial reactions. She's
was
like,
gonna say.
you cannot hide your facial reactions at all. So, I try to have a poker face, but
Try.
usually tells it all. There was Alpi, I think last year in New Orleans, had to play, and you can see me in the background on the sideline, and I'm like,
Oh, I think I remember.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
And
I
to
thi-
think I used to be a real journalist. Big J journalist.
Supposedly, yeah.
think-
Yeah.
To think I was on
Allegedly.
the other side of it. Now I'm like, go Rockets.
No, I think it's awesome. Just because that's what I'm saying. Like getting to do that, and I think oh man, just imagine all the awesome like clips that can come from that. I don't know. I just think
The
it's awesome.
Vanessa
Yeah.
reaction.
The
cam.
Vanessa reaction.
Yeah.
Rockets,
Lord.
are you hearing it?
Oh,
Make it happen.
I'm sure fans would love to see that. I'm sure they would. Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, in addition to whatever has been going on with the Rockets, I do want to dive into the WNBA. Because you know that Tillman did talk about potentially bringing in a team to Houston, potentially bringing back the Comets. A lot of people on social media have been talking about it, about the excitement that it would bring. For you, what do you think the type of effect the Comets could bring to the city of Houston for fans and girls in general to see women's sports on the forefront, not just with the Dash, but the Comets coming back?
There is no reason that Houston should not have a WNBA team.
I
I
agree.
have 3 words for you: Cheryl, Tina, and Cynthia.
There you go.
I mean, honestly, and then you get into the fact that Houston is a hotbed for women's talent. The Ogumekes, Lindsay, who is now a coach with the Lakers, from Houston. Houston is diverse. Houston already has a steady regional network. Hello, Space City Home Network.
There you go.
I know, seriously.
When the regional networks in a lot of cities are not doing well.
Right.
Houston has the space. There is no reason that Houston should not be the next expansion team for
Absolutely.
the WNBA. And look, if anybody can make it happen, it's the Fertitta family. And so, look,
yeah.
I mean, I'm never going to speak for Tillman because anybody can go on YouTube and see the comments that he made at the Rockets practice facility opening. But I know that fans here would not only love it, they would support it.
Right.
And it would be a massive success. And the proof is in the pudding. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
a massive success back when the Comets were here. Now think about the explosion of the WNBA. There's no reason that Houston should not be on the list.
Absolutely. It's been a major resurgence. We've seen how Caitlin Clark has just put butts in the seats everywhere she goes.
Everywhere.
You've
To
seen
the
her-
point to where they're having to play
They're
in
bigger
bigger
arenas.
arenas.
Yeah.
Yes, they're breaking records.
They're
Super
literally
left and
I
right.
mean,
Impressive.
it's-
It's
they have
wonderful.
charter planes for the WNBA players. They're they did a new media rights deal that was insane in value, and that is Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, she's so good.
Box
But
office,
Yeah,
but
that's
the,
the
but
thing,
the
yeah.
popularity of her is extending to other cities
Yes,
and with other
right.
players. So
Right.
again, I mean, that's just Houston is a natural fit.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. I've been following the WNBA playoffs. Shout out to New York Liberty. They just took out the defending champs, the Aces.
Yeah.
And, it's been crazy. I've been following along all year. And let me tell you, if Houston had a team.
Oh my gosh.
I'd be a season ticket holder.
I can, literally
Honestly,
see it.
The
Like,
food,
I would love to.
the fashion.
Oh, yeah.
Houston hosts all these the Final Four, Super Bowl, so you'd have people coming in for that. It's just it literally is the biggest no-brainer
Yeah,
ever.
this is the Mecca.
It's a perfect marriage.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
We're long overdue. So whoever
Long overdue.
watches this, please,
guys,
do
come on.
whatever you got to do. Put all the good mentions forward to try to see if we can get a WNBA team, an expansion team back into Houston because we sorely need it.
Oh, absolutely.
Interesting. Okay, so also I do want to discuss something with you because Boban is not.
Oh,
He's not a Rocket anymore. So I love the content that y'all always make together. He is by far one of my favorite Rockets of all time, and that is a lot. And I love a lot of different Rockets, but personally for me, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I love Steven Adams as well.
yeah. Well, he's
So
a
I was
new
gonna-
Rocket.
And I was gonna ask who with Boban gone and he was a content machine. Who in your mind would kind of take that role?
Good
Being that person
question.
with personality. Yeah.
It is up. I mean, we do a lot of broadcasting of it. The Rockets digital team does a good job of capturing that. I think it's up for grabs. Tari Eason is very funny. Tari
Oh,
and
yeah.
Cam are very funny together. I think it is up for grabs, but I do not think anybody can replace Boban.
I know.
Not
He
even-
really
Fair
is one of
statement.
one of
Every
the ones.
arena that he went to, it was like an explosion when he would check in the game.
Didn't he? Wasn't it that the very last game of the season too, where he
chicken.
He
The
missed the
chicken.
free
He
throws.
gave everyone chicken.
He was like, I hear you guys.
Yeah, most loved man. And Craig and Ryan's call of that was
Oh, it was
spectacular.
so good.
It was so good.
Yeah.
So good. Absolutely loved it. So, okay. So, I love when you give interviews. I love your thought process when you give interviews.
thank
What
you.
goes into that? What is kind of like your thought process when you
Yeah.
get ready to give interviews? You're talking about your coach's series. It's fantastic. But
Thank
when you
you.
kind of do this and, this is what you do for a living. So what is kind of the thought process that kind of goes into that especially for people that are watching and listening that want to do what you do?
Oh yeah, I mean every interview you prep for it obviously, and it is different. So the first time I interviewed Reed Shepherd, which was of course after he got drafted.
Yeah.
That's hours of reading articles and watching interviews to learn about him, his family, his interests. And then ultimately, you know, I'm only asking him like 15, maybe 20 questions, but, you know, knowing his habits and knowing how he is in interviews can kind of help guide you. And that is just one example. So with the guys now, if you're talking about like post-game interviews, well, then that is more relevant, of course, to like whatever happened during the game. And,
right.
you know, every now and then you go big picture in a post game, but usually you keep it kind of to that game. So it just depends on what the interview is. You know, my full interview with Ime Udoka from Media Day, which we actually ended up doing that one in the theater room at the practice facility. It's like, I think like 20 questions, and prioritizing in that case, it's look, I have 100 things I could ask him. He's the head coach of the team I cover, but you have to break it down and prioritize not only to what I'm interested in, but my producer and you know, what the big storylines are immediately, because I can get him again in a month.
Right.
So I think it's preparation and prioritizing are kind of those big things.
Nice. Okay. Well, let's pivot real quick to the training camp, because you were able to kind of see it firsthand.
Yeah, I watched it.
What were some because I just the way you said
It's like I was there. I was in the building.
She was like,
No,
yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
watched it every day.
Of
It
course
was
she
fun.
did. Yes. Yeah. What were some standouts? Like just anything that you noticed? Yeah.
Steven Adams' screening is scary, like equally as scary as you think.
He looks like a brick
wall,
Yeah.
literally. Amin Thompson, the jump is going to be unbelievable. I think the secret is kind of out on him. Reed Shepherd does not look like a rookie at all.
Not with that mustache either.
And right. And then kind of what we talked about earlier with like the goal for everybody is growth. And then what I mentioned earlier with the staff, one-on-one work, high energy, engaging. You know, now that this regime has had a year to take inventory and to figure out the guys and their personalities, and I think it is going to be a big leap forward for sure. So training camp was fun, and in that new facility,
I was going to ask you. Yes,
Oh,
that was going to be
man.
my next question, and you beat me to the punch. How is the new practice facility?
it-
Talk to him, Vanessa.
it is like the scouts are like, we want to be at work all the time.
I would imagine.
Rafael Stone's wife tweeted me, and she was like, I think my husband lives there now, because it is the facility is unbelievable.
I was gonna say,
And
yeah.
like they thought of everything. They have natural light with turf outside in case the guys in the winter, you know, it's beautiful in Houston in the winter.
Yeah.
In case they want to go outside and do, you know, get natural light. And you know, the offices have glass so the guys can see each other. And then the court, the main thing is 2 full courts.
Yes.
You know, but even the kitchen has Landry's chefs, and the weight room is immaculate. The theater room is sensational. I mean, there is no stone unturned. It is truly an amazing facility. And when you walk in, you see, you know, a video playing on loop of the Rockets championships, and you have this, don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion from
Yeah.
Rudy T. It is detail oriented. There's a system where the players can track how many shots they've made. It's like GPS
insane.
infused.
Oh, yes.
Every
That's insane.
detail.
Yeah, I've seen Reed Shepherd talk
truly
about that.
Every
Yeah.
detail was thought of, and there's the hot tub / cold tub. I could go on and on and on.
Big fan of that, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was the
I
first
wish
one
I
to
could.
get
I cannot use it. I wish I could use it. I would. You'd see me in there in the hot tub after practices for sure. But
It's like, don't mind me. Don't mind
yeah,
me.
seriously. But just what an amazing investment by
Yes.
the Fertittas for sure
Absolutely.
for this franchise.
I mean, the building looks amazing. Like I drive by there probably like every other day.
Yeah.
Because I drive all around for work, just for people that don't know.
I want to
but-
live there.
Oh yeah, it looks amazing. When
I
I
wanna
drive
live
by, I drove by there Saturday, on the way over to our watch party, and I was like, man, this looks amazing.
I'm
And you
moving
see
out of
my.
my apartment and moving
Yes.
into the Rockets.
There'll be a
practice.
room there
Find,
for you.
find
I'm
our new
sure.
address. Yeah. Find our new address at the practice facility.
Yep, exactly.
No, it's a fantastic spot. And training camp, obviously, what are the excitement levels right now going into the season? For you,
10 out of 10.
Oof.
10 out of 10.
without
Speaking
mic
for-
drop.
Yeah.
She's
speaking for
mic
all
drop.
of us.
10 out of 10. I don't need to say anything else.
No, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
It is a great feeling to be on the other side of what was a tough couple of years. And I give, as Tillman Fertitta talked about at the practice facility opening, so much credit to Patrick Fertitta and Rafael that made that decision to have to build from the ground up, and what an exciting time for fans in Houston to have Clutch City back on the right track. So 10 out of 10. We have some exciting things coming on the broadcast this year that I cannot tease right now, but that is a tease.
I was like,
I just can't say exactly what they will be, but it's going to be a really fun year.
It's going to be such a fun year. We're so excited. What about your excitement levels are pretty high too, right?
My excitement levels are the same level as Vanessa. 10 of 10.
No, seriously. After and you hit the nail on the head. Like past couple years it's been tough. The fans have been steady throughout, which I've been so thankful for. But I think overall, like this team, this season, it's a perfect marriage. I think we're on our way. I think this may be
100%. I mean, everything looks like it's on the up and up. If we're going based on trajectory, based on what we see, the youth, the mixture of youth and the veterans, I think we're right there.
I'm glad you brought that up because it really is that mix of youth, veterans, a really great, engaged, young, experienced staff. You have a new facility. The addition of Steven Adams is huge.
Oh, people talk about
that. No, they don't. They really don't.
Him.
And because the majority of the roster was consistent, but that addition is huge.
Oh my gosh, he's going to be
literally
so
and figuratively.
Big. Yes.
Yeah. Oh no,
absolutely.
Literally. Yeah. He's like 7'2".
Yeah.
7'2", 7'1".
And he seems like the nicest human being.
Yeah.
Like he's from New Zealand.
I haven't gotten the chance really to know him, but what he can add to this team, I think, is people probably aren't mentioning it enough. And look, Jock Landale was great last year. When he got healthy and he had to fill in for Alpi, he was fantastic too.
Yes,
and
I thought
he pulled
did
his
wonderful.
weight.
Right.
So
100%.
I'm old school. I love the big men, and I'm excited to see what ours can do.
No, it's going to be a good year. I think overall, with like you said, like a mix of the young players, a mix of the veterans with Fred VanVleet, obviously, all them still on the team. The team mostly stayed the same.
Yeah.
And then they added. They got Reed Shepherd, like you said. They got Steven Adams. I think overall we're looking at a big year in terms of of leap for this team. So last question going for you. So as we get ready to close out this episode, obviously,
No, nothing.
I was like,
You said last question. You looked very intense.
No. I tried to not be too intense. I tried to not be. Did you have a question, by the way? Did you have another question?
Well, okay.
You did.
Wait, you go first and then you.
No, you can go first.
Well, mine's a little solemn considering, rest in peace to Kevin Mutombo.
Oh, yeah.
We all loved him as a player for the Houston Rockets and just as an ambassador of the NBA, Houston, and the world. He was an amazing human being. Do you have any memories of meeting him whenever he would come around and watch games, or just when he would visit?
Yeah, I never had the pleasure of meeting him, but just what a legacy he left, and so many people in the Rockets organization have been and still are shocked and hurting because of everything that not only he did for the organization, but you talk about the epitome of just a good person who used their platform to serve others and always gave back home.
Yeah.
And, somebody who is truly an unbelievable player but an even better person, I think is really rare to find.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so my last question, and I'm not a big fan of superlatives, but I gotta give you at least one superlative to end on an episode. You've been the sideline reporter. Obviously, this is going to be a very big year, and you've been with this team now for a few years. What's been your favorite memory? I know I can't pin it down to one. You're going to give me a few.
I will.
Give the people a handful of your favorite memories.
I think when the Rockets beat the Thunder, and I believe that made it 10 in a row. Jabari had a fantastic game. It was a team win.
An overtime win.
The Jalen Green march.
Yeah, I think it really I think it solidified that this team was real. And people out there that are haters and can always find, well, they were only whatever. It was 10 wins in a row. It was a young team.
Yep.
It was Ime's first year with the Rockets. And to me, that was such a great memory because we went back to the locker room and Tillman and Patrick Fertitta were there, and they shook the hands of every coach as they walked in the locker room because it was just pure joy and pure excitement of this is on the right track. I think when I interviewed Alperen Şengün after his game against the Pelicans, and Valanciunas was physical and Alperen was physical right back. And then Tari, grabs the mic and says, Alperen Şengün is an all-star. The Wizard is an all-star. That was just another, really special moment. But, Yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of really great times. I have such a great job that I absolutely never take for granted. And, you know, all of those games that have been huge that I think have represented and been symbolic of the hope and the fact that the Rockets are on the right trajectory has been really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And most importantly of all, like what you do for the city, for Houston, I think really you've really entrenched yourself into the city. Like Houston and the Rockets, they all know who you are. Like a lot of people in the city, like, and we've told a couple people. Vanessa was coming on. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, like this is fantastic!"
So sweet.
You know, so
Thank you.
whatever what you're doing now, and just being a sideline reporter, an extension of the fan base to a degree, because you do get to speak to the team.
I do,
and you do get to ask the questions that these the fans ask about. So really, you still and are continuing to do a fantastic job.
Thank you, guys.
So here's to you. You're gonna have a great season.
Thank you.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for coming on. Is there
thank you for
anything
coming.
that you would like to say before we get ready to end?
Ooh,
here?
I would just say the games, every game except for the 2 national, are going to be on Space City Home Network. And I would just invite people to follow our social media. We're going to continue to pump up great content. You know, we're working a lot with Rockets digital team to, make good content and give fans that access that they can't get anywhere else. So
hit them with the ads. What are the ads?
At Space City HN. And then, hold on, I'm double checking that right now because I want to make 100% sure. I'm fact checking. Okay,
happens to the best of us.
At Space City HN, and then I'm at Sports Vanessa.
At Sports Vanessa.
Yeah.
Such a great ad, by the way.
Well, it's true story. Vanessa Richardson's too many characters for Twitter.
Oh, you can't go beyond
way.
15
It can't
or
go
something,
beyond
right?
15. That's 17 letters.
Yeah, and you weren't going to be
Unless
Vanessa
my math
Richards.
is correct, because
Yeah.
that's not correct. So, Sports Vanessa is what it had to be.
Nice.
It stuck.
No, we'll take it. We'll take it. And by the way,
Absolutely.
we were catered today on this episode.
Yes.
So-
Yes.
Q's, right?
Yes, Q's
Yeah,
Deli.
Q's
I want to
Deli.
give a shout
it.
out to my boy Ali, to Q's Deli, for taking care of us this evening and giving us some of the best sandwiches in Houston.
Love it.
If you guys,
Thank you, Q's Deli.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys ever want to go down, make sure to go to Sugarland. It's on Dairy Ashford, 13134, Suite 100. The best halal meats, sandwiches in the city of
Yum.
Houston. Make sure to go by, say hello, and enjoy some good sandwiches. If you ask for my opinion, I tell everyone to get Q's Best. That's the best sandwich. It is a delight.
It's
But-
its namesake.
Yes, absolutely,
100%.
absolutely. But just want to thank you, Vanessa, again for coming.
Thank you, guys.
For everyone that's around here, make sure to like, subscribe, comment on this episode. For anything that you guys want, just keep us in the algorithm. We'd love
comment.
to have you guys.
Comment.
Make sure to sub. We're at 10.8 right now.
10.8, yeah, 10.8K.
Get us to 11.
subscribers. Get us
11,000.
to 11K.
Yeah.
This episode of Vanessa is going to get us to 11. I have high hopes. As Vanessa gives the point.
You already know.
Stare.
Yeah.
Let him know one time. But Vanessa, thank you so much once again for coming
Thanks,
on.
guys.
Here's to a great season.
Yes.
Yep.
For the Houston Rockets, and maybe we can get you on maybe towards the end of season or
Yeah.
after the season, and we can talk about the season as a whole. So
And
this'll
hopefully
be-
playoffs.
Hopefully
my
playoffs.
Post
goodness.
That is the
playoffs.
goal.
Oh, I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
too.
Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and end this episode. As I end every episode with a Go Summit, Go Apollo, and Vanessa Richardson's on the show. And of course, we got to end it with a Go Rockets. Thank you very much. Y'all take care.
Let's go.